I'm Dr. Vijay Kumar Dalla. My topic is robotics motion visualization through Robo Analyzer. Earlier it was different, but I made a request so that to maintain the consistency of this course, I requested, and then I am allowed now. So in this Atal FDP on robotics and artificial intelligence. So my topic is related to the software exposure of kinematics, dynamics of a robot. I will also brief about some research possibilities we can pursue, and we can extract something from this my lecture for the research purpose, how one can extend, how one can find the problems that may be for the research purpose. Okay. So in robotics of motion, so you all are aware, in the one line, very easily we can define what is a robot. So a robot is a reprogrammable multifunctional automated machine in a single line. Robotics motion means the positions, angular positions, linear positions, velocities, then accelerations. Visualization through Robo Analyzer. So this software is a 3D model based software for teaching and learning, and it is a open source, so everyone can download it, can extract the files, and can visualize the motions. As in my outline, some basic introductions, then applications of AI, those are very general applications. AI in failure control, recovery, AI in power optimization. AI in failure control, recovery, this I have done, this work I have done. Also, AI in power optimization. So in AI, artificial intelligence, the optimization techniques, there are various optimization techniques, conventional, non-conventional, which is also known as advanced optimization techniques. So I used the genetic algorithm, that is the bio-inspired, based on theory that our new generations are more smarter than the previous. So that is based on that algorithm. In the introduction, as we should know, to define a robot, what is a robot, and we should know to differentiate the robotics and the automation. In the case of automation, fixed kind of programming is run. We cannot change that algorithms. We cannot make it multifunctional if it is not reprogrammable, or you can say limited reprogrammability can be done, then it is known as the automation. But in the robot, that is multifunctional, we can change the program according to the requirement, according to the situation, and the robot is not only limited to only one task. Nowadays, one can see, one can refer the publications, especially in the pandemic period, the role of robotics and artificial intelligence in COVID-19. And robot can go in the space, can do manipulation, robot can do manipulation, underwater manipulation, robot can go inside the pipeline and can inspect, can take photographs so that if there are some leakage, so we can find out. So earlier it was only limited to industrial applications, but nowadays various applications are there. So these are some basics and how AI is used in robotics. So all you are aware because it is the last day of session. So I'm not going to talk about this like applications of AI in robotics, how robotics in healthcare, how it is helping, robotics in agricultural, how it is helping in India. Still, it is not so feasible, not economical, very expensive. So that's why very less adoption is there in our country. And robotics in automotive for assembly, for welding, like spot weldings, uh, thousands weldings are required. So that can be done by a robot. In warehouses, in supply chain, the genetic algorithm used in my work, but as to maintain consistency, I will first go through the Robo Analyzer software. Uh, just 1 minute. Uh, and related to Robo Analyzer, we should know about the kinematics. So what I'm trying to do, I will relate. Firstly, I'm going to open the application, the Robo Analyzer. Then I will relate the theory with the software. And somewhere one can download the software. So that can be done by typing Robo Analyzer in the Google. Then you will find the page and informations about the Robo Analyzer. So Robo Analyzer is a 3D model based software that can be used to teach and learn the robotics concept. So what is the purpose of evolving this kind of softwares? Many institutes do not have the robotics laboratory because it's expensive. Small robots we can afford, but the like industrial robots, KUKA robots, so that may cost 30, 40, 50 lakhs. Even if there is a robotics laboratory, then also we should know, we should try first with the this visualization, virtual visualization, like in robotics laboratory of IIT Roorkee, there were many robots, but firstly we used to try with the software, the simulation, then we handle the actual software. So for that purpose, it is made and it is developed in the Mechatronics Lab, Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT Delhi, with the team of Professor S.K. Saha. It is a 3D model. Also through the graphs, we can extract the data. We can see the behavior of the robot through the curves. From here, downloads, one can download this software. And what are the basic requirements before downloading, like processors, RAM, operating system, dependency, especially this one, dependency, Microsoft.NET 2.0 framework. This is required. If you see, there is in the screen left side, there are various versions. Right side, new features. So in every versions, there are some new features are added. If we compare with the very first version, that was RoboAnalyzer V1, so some basic informations were there. Then RoboAnalyzer V2, the forward kinematics of revolute joints, animation, graph plot. Then in V3, only earlier the revolute joints were included, then prismatic joints, then visualization of DH parameters. Okay. So what is this DH parameters? So this is a DH convention to specify the robot to analyze the robot. It is required. As you can see, to derive the equations, we need to take help of DH parameters. That I will brief little bit. In this way, in all versions, some new features are added. So what about in the latest version, V7.5? So latest version is homogeneous transformation matrix. Generally, we get confusion. What is this transformation matrix? Why it is important? What about? Suppose you have various matrices, means transformation. Firstly, what is transformation? Then how to multiply? What is the sequence we need to follow? So through this, we can know that the sequence of the multiplication. That matters. If we do some mistake, then we cannot get the proper solution. Okay. So from here, one can download. I have already downloaded in my PC so that I can minimize the time. Like this one. Then now I'm going to open the RoboAnalyzer software. Yeah, one can see. After clicking the by default robot, that is 2 degrees of freedom, 2R revolute to revolute joints. This is joint 1, this is joint 2, and this is the wrist of the robot. And the joint is a revolute type. That's why 2 degrees of freedom, revolute to revolute manipulator. By default, it is coming. These are the coordinates to measure to locate the end factor or you can say the robot, it is required. Like suppose you are going to measure from the base of the robot, then where is your end effector? Suppose a robot is doing some manipulation. So with respect to the base, where is in terms of x and y z directions and orientation, where is our end effector? So that can be known by these coordinates. Okay. So very first, this STM module, then this one, then at the last, we will visualize these virtual robots. So now I'm clicking the STM module. Okay. And now I'm going to connect because some basics are required to know about this software. Like kinematics. So in kinematics, we study about motions without considering the causes of the motion. The causes either may be the torques or forces. So in which we bother about where is our manipulator, the angular positions, velocities, acceleration. What are the forces, what are the torques required to move the manipulator, that is not studied in the case of kinematics. And there are two types of kinematics, forward and inverse kinematics. So in forward kinematic, what we know about our end effector location, where is our end effector for the given joint variables, like theta 1 is something, theta 2 is something, theta 3 is something. In the case of 3 degree of freedom robot, means in the case of planar, in the case of 3D, 6 degree of freedom means 6 joints are required. So what are the, for the given joint variables, where is our end effector? That is our focus. But in the case of inverse kinematics, just reverse it. One can understand it with the help of this block diagram. If you reverse, for the given end effector location, what are the joint variables? I am not saying the joint angles, because joints may be either revolute, Cartesian, means prismatic. So that's why saying joint variables is more suitable term. Okay. So in inverse kinematics, what is our focus? Our focus is what are the various, or you can say a set of joint variables. For the 6 degrees of freedom robot, a set means from theta 1 to theta 6, what are the values? One set, and in the another set, the values will be different, and so on. So our focus is that joint variables. Okay. And inverse kinematics, it is more practical. And it will provide either single solution, no solution, or multiple solutions. And what about the forward kinematics? It can provide only one solution. For the given joint variables, where is the end effector? That is the only one solution, means one way to reach the goal point. And what is the goal point? The robot, the task has to be performed by the robot. That is the goal point. For that, some specific trajectory is required. Followed by that, robot has to perform the task. Okay. So in case of forward kinematics, there will be only one option to reach the goal point. But in the case of inverse kinematics, there may be multiple ways, that is known as the multiple solutions to reach the goal point. Single solution also may be, but generally the multiple solutions it provides. No solution, like no solution, that is in case of both the forward kinematics and the inverse kinematics. If suppose the object is beyond the workspace, then robot cannot handle. Suppose robot has to perform the welding in the cars, so it should be within the workspace. And then what is that workspace? Means it should be in the reachable areas, reachable volumes. Workspace is the position plus orientation of the manipulator. Means the maximum reach of the manipulator is known as the workspace. Okay, but we need to take care of similarity. If you fully stretch the robot, then there may be a problem of singularity. Singularity means it cannot reach the goal point. Okay. So in this way, there are difference between the forward kinematics and the inverse kinematics that can be understood easily by the block diagram. Okay. Regarding DH parameters, so what is the full form of? If you see here, DH parameters. So what is this? So DH parameter, D stands for Dana-Witt, H for Hartenberg. Dana-Witt, Hartenberg, it is named after two scientists. That's why DH parameters. Okay. So why it is required? If you compare, if you see this, so for simple robot, it is a simple robot, planar robot. Okay. So easily one can know the and effector positions. And effector positions X, E, Y, E, phi E, phi is the orientation with respect to the base of the robot. So that's why the reference coordinate system is attached here. See, the reference coordinate system is attached here, and the others, the coordinate systems are the moving coordinate systems. So easily for the given joint variables, here joint variables are revolved. That's why the means theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, and the link 1 with length L1, link 2 with length L2, link 3 with length L3. This 1, 2, 3 are the coordinate systems. One can see this is the coordinate system. Okay. And how to count the links? So we start from the 0, like a link 0, 1, 2, 3. But for counting joints, so we start from joint 1. This is the joint 1, joint 2, joint 3. Means for the n number of joints, how many links are required? How many links are required? So 4 links are required, including link 0. And what is the link 0? That is the base of the robot, where it is mounted. Okay. So for this kind of robot, easily we can know, easily we can locate the manipulator, easily we can analyze, easily we can derive, easily we can know the location. So how to get the position of end effector in x direction? So what we have to do? We have to measure the x direction with respect to the 0, this origin are linked 0. So from here to here along the x direction. But links are inclined. So for that, what we have to do? So xe will be L1 cos theta 1 to include the inclination. Simple and similarly plus L2 cos theta 1 plus theta 2. And for link 3 plus L3 cos theta 1 plus theta 2 plus theta 3. Okay. So why previous angles, the orientations are being added? Because for link 2, suppose we are measuring along the axis of the previous link, not means with respect to the x-axis. That's why we need to add the previous axis. Okay. So in this way, easily we can analyze this kind of robot, means a simple robot. Through the geometric approach. This is the through the geometric approach, easily we can know, easily we can derive the equations. Either 2D or 3D. But what about like a humanoid robot? Human-like robot, can we easily locate? Can we easily get the derivations? No, it is not simple, very difficult. Okay. In that case, the DH convention is preferred. DH convention is preferred. Okay. So, what about the parameters? How many parameters are involved in DH parameters? So you can see this is the joint offset, joint angle, link length, twist angles. These four are the DH parameters. What is the joint offset now? Joint offset is in the case of prismatic joint. Joint angle is in the case of revolute rotary joint. Link length, that's the length of link like L1, L2. What about the twist angle? Okay. So twist angle you can see here. With this, referring this example, the twist angles are 0, 0, because you can see the coordinates attached at the joints. See suppose this is the z axis, this is the z axis. Okay, this is the z, this is the suppose x, this is the y, x, y, z. Okay, x, y, z. So all the z axis are in parallel, means coordinates are in parallel. It is not intersecting to each other. If it intersects each other by some angle, then that angle is known as the twist angle. Okay. So in this way, the DH convention is preferred. Okay. Now, regarding the transformations, the coordinate systems. Regarding the coordinate systems, okay, one can see this, one can zoom in or zoom out by scrolling it. Okay, so we are able to see the two coordinates, a smaller one and a bigger one. So bigger one is the reference coordinate system, a smaller one is the moving coordinate system. And what is this transformation? So transformation, making movement of the object from one point to the another. One point to the another. Okay. Means robot suppose clean the window glass. In that case, robot has to, means manipulator has to move that movement either by the translatory along the axis or above the axis, that may be, or both, translation plus rotation. Okay, so that is that transformation. And there are three types of transformations: pure translation, pure rotation, and the third one is the translation plus rotation. Okay, now look at the translation. Translation along x, y, z axis. Initially, these are zero values, means it is at the origin of reference coordinate system. Suppose we put some random values, this one, and see this. Okay, so it got translated. Why translated? Because one can compare the axis, all the axes are parallel. Okay, so these are the translation. And suppose we rotate about any axis by some angle 45 degree. It is a random value I have selected. One can select any one. Okay. Now rotating it. So see, now the axis got rotated. Okay. But what is the still not rotated? That is the x-axis. This one and this one. Okay. So if it rotates about its own axis, okay, so like this one, so that's why there is no rotation, but other axis got rotated by the same angle. like this y rotated by 45 degree, z rotated by 45 degree. Okay. And one observation in the DH parameters, also you can see the HTM homogeneous transformation matrix. Okay, so why it is known as homogeneous? Why it is known as homogeneous? So one can understand this matrix. This 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the number of columns. There are 4 columns. 4 rows are there. Okay. Last column represent the and factor position of the robot. And factor position of the robot. And what about the orientation? So this 3 by 3 matrix, it represents the orientation of the manipulator. Orientation of the manipulator. Okay. So in this case, suppose the transformations consist of one rotation, one translation, like that. So we can represent rotation by 3 by 3 matrix. But for the transformation, translation, the matrix should be 3 by 4 matrix. Okay. For the rotation, 3 by 3 matrix, and for the translation, 3 by 4 matrix. And after solving, after multiplying the matrices, then at the last we will be able to know about the x, y, z or orientation of the manipulator. Okay. So in that case, one matrix is square, another is the rectangular. So in that case, we cannot multiply. We cannot multiply, means we cannot get the solution. Okay. In that case, what is the solution? What is the solution? Why not to represent all the matrices in the same dimension, 4 by 4, either rotation or translation. Okay. So that's why the last row is added. Last row is added, and that is known as the perspective matrix. And it doesn't affect, but it provides solution. It makes the matrix homogeneous in terms of dimensions. Okay. That's why it is known as the homogeneous transformation matrix. Means it should be in a square. It should be, the dimension should be same 3 by 3 matrix or 4 by 4 matrix. It should not be like a one is 3 by 3 and other matrix is 3 by 4. Okay. So in this way, we can visualize the translation, rotation. Okay. Then suppose further we do translation. Yeah, this is the translation. Okay. Okay. One more thing, this is the local transformation. The transformation is with respect to the base of the robot. And in this case, what is happening? See the sequence of multiplication of the matrices. And from where the matrices come? From where the matrices come? Each transformation has or produced are represented by one matrix. So by this one can see very first translation, then in the second transformation the rotation was done, and then in the third transformation that translation is done. Okay, or these are 1, 2, 3 denotes the transformations. T denotes the translation, R denotes the rotation. So this is the sequence of sequence of multiplication of the yeah.
Vijay sir, you are mute.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now unmute. You are mute, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay. So we can see that this sequence of multiplication. Suppose again I am doing rotation, like rotation about Z and value. Suppose I am changing 30 degree, and see what is at the same time we need to see this coordinate system, and at the same time see the sequence of multiplication and the changes in the value in this homogeneous matrix. Okay. After clicking this, please look at, yeah, this one. This it is also changed the matrix, and see the R4 is post multiplied to the previous transformation. Okay. What about the global transformation? Okay. Suppose we are resetting it. Okay. For the better visualization and the global, one can see the sequence that see this T1. This is the one transformation, and suppose now I am rotating. So whether it is pre-multiplied or post-multiplied. Okay, so it is pre-multiplied. Pre-multiplied. Okay, and what is this global transformation? Means the and effector positions are positions or orientations are now being measured with respect to the some third coordinates, which is somewhere else, not from the base of the robot. Okay. So in this way, one can visualize the motions of the coordinate systems. There are three types of transformations: translation, rotation, and the third one, combination of these two. Also, we came to know about what is the homogeneous transformation matrix, and suppose we do not maintain the dimension. Suppose we don't take the same like a 3 by 3 or 4 by 4. Here 4 by 4 we have to take. Then we cannot analyze the system. We cannot analyze the robotic system. We cannot get the solution. We cannot locate our manipulator. Whether it is going, the end effector is, where is our end effector? We cannot locate. Okay. Also, the local transformation versus the global transformations. means in terms of pre-multiplication and post-multiplication. So in this way, and these are the some views. This is the presently it is isometric view in which all the axes we can see. This is the in the planar case x, y, y, z, x, z. Okay, in this way we can see, we can visualize the motions. Okay, now coming to this, yeah. So by default, 2 degrees of freedom robot of revolute to revolute kinds of joints are coming in the picture, and what are the degrees of freedom are available. So one can see from 1 degree freedom, from 1 degree to the 7 degree of freedom robot we can visualize here. And select robot means one can classify the robots by the various approaches. One approach is here based on the joint type, whether the joint is revolute, prismatic, spherical, like that. Here only prismatic and the revolute joints. Okay. What are the other classifications? Like one can classify the serial manipulator, parallel manipulator. Okay. One can classify like the mobile robot, ground robot, like industrial robot, space robot, okay, underwater robot, like that. Okay. So suppose we are going to select the 5 degrees of freedom robot, and this one based on your choice, one can select it. Okay. Now, after loading this robot, see the DH parameters. So what is this? Joint offset in the case of prismatic joints. And see, all the joints are here revolute joints. All the joints are revolute. And the joint angles, that's why the joint angle are the variable. And what about the link length? So these are the link length. Twist angle 90 degree. So once if I click this, if I click this base frame to end effector, so what will happen? This coordinate system will move from the base to the joints, and it will reach to the end effector. Okay. Adopting or taking these values, it will take the values of joint number 1 and like a joint offset, then it will come to here, here, it will complete, means a cycle of joint 1, then it will come to the joint 2. Okay, so one can visualize it. Now I'm clicking this and see revolute joint, then the variable, then link length, it got translated, then it got twisted by 90 degree. Second joint, yeah, in this way it is taking the values of the DS parameters. Yeah, ultimately it is coming to the end effector. Okay. In this way, we can visualize the axis. We can identify the joints. We can identify the types of joints. Okay. If you see the DH, visualize the DH after clicking this, but I'm getting, yeah. So that, so yeah, this is the already the visualize DH. So DH parameters are already given here. What about link configuration? So link 5, the last link with respect to the previous link or with respect to the base frame. So in this way, we can visualize. Means what are the values of end effectors in X direction, Y direction, Z direction with respect to the base of the robot. Similarly, with respect to the previous link means link 4. If we compare link 4 and the link 5, so what is the difference? Okay. Okay. So, and what about the AND effector configuration? This is the AND effector configuration, same like link 5. Yeah, link 5 with the same we're getting in end effector configuration. What about the joint trajectory? And what is the trajectory? Trajectory is a time dependent predefined the equation of the motion and effector motion, that is the time independent. Sometimes we say the path, but path is a time independent. So more better to use the term trajectory because the speed matters in robotics for the more productivity. Okay. These are the various types of the trajectories. All has their own features, merits, demerits. Okay. Now, coming to the forward kinematics, inverse kinematics, then the inverse dynamics, forward dynamics. So already I have defined the forward kinematics, the inverse kinematics. Okay. I'm clicking now the forward kinematic. After clicking this forward kinematic, what is coming? See, the system is analyzed, analysis is complete. Okay. So that is done, analysis is done, but how to visualize? For that, we need to take help of animation. So by playing this, now we can visualize the motion of the robot. Sometimes we say manipulator, sometimes we say a robot. So manipulator is actually the mechanical structure of the robot. Manipulator, okay, mechanical structure. But if you include all the base, the controller unit, the power unit, then it becomes a robot. It is known as a robot. Complete one is known as the robot. Okay. So this forward kinematic we visualize by the 3D motion. Also we can visualize by the graph. Okay. So these are the links. As we know, 5 degrees of freedom robot. It is for 5 degrees of freedom robot. Then obviously there will be 6 joints, 6 links, but a link 0 is not presented. Okay, that's why link 1 to link 5, joint 1 to joint 5. So link 5, suppose we want to, our interest is to know about and effector positions. Okay. So in this way we can know. Okay. So this is link means x direction of end effector, and this is the for y direction, this is for z direction. Okay. Similarly, the angular positions also can be known like this. Okay. And if you want to zoom, so we can zoom it. The simulation time we can increase. It is by default it is coming. It is set for 1 second. Okay. Okay. So in this way, yeah. And what about the if, forces or torques required to move the manipulator? Okay. So what is coming? Inverse dynamic simulation data doesn't exist. Okay. So for that, what we have to do? We have to do the inverse dynamic. Okay. So the motion, the same motion will be seen, but graphically we can know about the forces or torques required values. We can know graphically. Okay. Like I'm doing this forward kinematics, then inverse kinematics, then suppose the forces required. Yeah. Some values it will come. This for inverse kinematics, forward kinematics. This one. Okay. Now graphically, there will be some values. This is the joint acceleration, joint forces. Yeah, it will have some values. It is showing a 0, but it will have some values. Okay. So in dynamics, we can know about the position, means the motions and the forces or torques required to move the manipulator. Okay. So forward kinematic is done, and inverse kinematic. After clicking this, what is coming? Please allow me few minutes break so that
Yes, sir, you can do it.
yeah. So I will be again connected after 5 minutes.
Okay, sir, no issues.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, shall I continue?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. So after clicking this inverse kinematic, one can see the new window is coming. And regarding this, one can see there is an option to select the various robots like 2R planar, 2B planar, RB planar, like a 3R. Yeah, in this way. Like a KUKA robot. Six are genetic robot. Yeah, in this way, we can select our own robot. Okay. So what about this? For this robot, KUKA KR5 ARC, there are 6 joints, link lengths with these link length, 2 strangle values. And the AND effector position. So AND effector positions are given. One can see for X, Y, Z, all directions, the AND effector positions are given. And this is the orientation matrix. Okay, orientation of the manipulator. Okay. And there are 8 solutions for this robot. Depending upon the configuration of the robot, for this by default there are 8 solutions. After clicking this IKIN inverse kinematic, now earlier it was unfilled. After clicking, all the values are coming here. Like solution 1, solution 2, solution 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what is solution 1? These are the joint angles. One set of joint angle. This is the another set. This is the third, fourth, and so on. Okay, now what about after clicking this, or you can say after taking values of these joint values? See, the robot configuration now got changed. It was like earlier before adopting this configuration. Now what about suppose after taking values of solution 8, see how it looks like now. Similarly, suppose solution 5, solution 6, solution 4, yeah. In our observation, we should observe AND effectors position, whether it is means it is same common for all configurations or not. So once again, for solution 1, solution 5, solution 6, solution 3. Okay. So from our observation, we visualize that the AND effector positions are common for the all configurations. For the all configurations. Okay. Means to reach the same goal point, there are multiple ways. And why it is required? Multiple ways, why it is required? One example, like there are obstacles in the workspace. I'm going to play a animation regarding obstacles. Let us, yeah. If it is visible, see, there are two obstacles in the workspace. Our primary task is trajectory tracking, which is required for the manipulation, which is required either for assembly, for inspection. Firstly, following the path completely, that is our first requirement. Okay. But secondary, what is the secondary requirement? One can see. In this, although primary task is completed, but a secondary task is avoiding obstacles. That is not okay. Once again, in this first stage, see, in this earlier was the first stage, both the obstacles were avoiding, both the obstacles were hitting to the manipulator. In this second stage, one can say this obstacle 1 is avoided, but obstacle 2 is still hitting to the manipulator, which is not required. While manipulation, we need to save our robot, we need to save our object from the damaging. Sometimes the object may be precious, then the robot. So both are we should take care. Okay. In the third stage, see, obstacle, neither obstacle 1 is hitting to the manipulator, nor the obstacle 2 is hitting to the manipulator, while tracing the predefined path of the AND effector. What is the AND effector? The AND effector, the tool, a gripper attached at the wrist of the manipulator, is known as the AND effector. So in this situation, we need to have multiple solutions. and that can be realized only in the case of inverse kinematics, as it provides multiple ways to reach the goal point. Inverse kinematics is preferable, more preferable than the forward kinematics. Okay. So in this way, one can visualize. Now coming to the third part of this robo analyzer, that is the virtual robots. Yeah. In the screen, one can see the various robots. Further, the various robots like Pima 5560. After clicking this, after loading, yeah, one can see how the various robots look like. So by clicking this, easily one can, yeah, this is a suppose Kuka, yeah, like this one. Okay. So depending upon the choice, one can select a robot. And this is also one beauty of this software is CAD model. This is the CAD model. So our own CAD model also we can interface. We can take it here. Okay. Now, if you see, there are joint control, Cartesian control, then recording. Means there are two ways to control a manipulator, either through the joint or either through the Cartesian. Through the joint control, our focus will be on the controlling joints. We will not bother about the end effector positions, locations. But in the Cartesian, our focus will be the end effectors. Okay, irrespective irrespective of movement of the joints. Okay, and this is known as joint, either joint control, Cartesian control is known as jogging. Okay, by this what we can know, we can identify sometimes if you see a robot, it is difficult to identify which is a joint 1, joint 2, like that. So by this, and this can be done with actual robot also. If you do this and you interface your robot with the software, then by clicking this, your robot will be also doing the same thing. Okay, now the joint 3, okay, joint 4, joint 5, joint 6, the end effector. Okay, in this way we can control a joint. Okay, now removing, clearing the traces, making it home, means home. By clicking this home position, the initial configuration of the robot will be displayed. Okay, now Cartesian control, this is the Cartesian control. So increment in terms of position, that is a mm, in terms of angle, that is a 0.5 degree. So for fast movement, we can increase it like a 4, this is a 3, then I'm okay. Then suppose our purpose is to make a profile, like a rectangular profile. Means by following that profile, suppose the weldings are done on the plate. Okay. And recording, we start recording now. See, we are playing with the and vector in positive direction, and we are trying to make a profile now. Y positive direction. Okay. Okay. Now x minus, our purpose is to make a circuit to complete this. Suppose a welding on the plate following this profile. Okay. Now what I have to do? Y minus. I'm trying to complete the cycle. Means जहां से स्टार्ट हुआ था वही क्लोज हो जाए. Yeah. One can observe the start and the end point is different. So that is the error. Okay. Now, this can be the recording. I stopped. Now, I want to play it. Yeah. In this way, one can do the jogging of the robot. Okay. Regarding optimization, though, so trajectory, now that is the trajectory, and where optimization is required. Just this one. Let us take help of yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in my work, I optimized the trajectory. That trajectory is the S-curve trajectory. You can see this one is the non-optimized trajectory, and this is the optimized trajectory. So this arc is the arc, the radius of this arc is reduced. Okay, but keeping the same the start and the end goal point, it is minimized. Okay, and with this minimization of the trajectory of the robot, the power consumption is also minimized. One can see the powers required in the case of non-optimized and in the optimized case up to this only, but in the case of non-optimized up to this also, these are lower values. Okay, so that was done. So the genetic optimization means by genetic algorithm, the optimization technique. This is the flow chart of the GA implementation, genetic algorithm implementation. So what we have to do, either nowadays in MATLAB there is a toolbox, and if one is interested, then can write all the codings, but that is not required if there is a toolbox. And then what you need to do, you need to make a objective function. So what I felt the difficulty by making objective function, and what about the parameters here? So in my this work, I used a PID controller, PD controller. Okay, so from the PID 3 gain parameters, from the PD 2 gain parameters, and from the trajectory, this trajectory, there were 4 control points at the start, 1 and 2, and in between this arc, left side and the right side. So this shape depends upon the control points. So in this way, there were 9 parameters, 9 controlling parameters, which decides the the profile of the trajectory, which decides the power consumption required to for the manipulation. Okay, so based using this genetic algorithm, what I did, and by entering all the number of generations, population size, crossover, mutation probability, number of variables, that are 9 variables, lower and upper bounds of variables, means the lower and upper limits, and that we need to take help from the experiments, from the literature, means the lower limit, how to know the lower limit, how to know the upper limit. Okay, so the algorithm, this type of algorithm, which suggests the in-between values, which minimizes whatever the powers, the trajectories, time. Okay, then we need to do initial population, then evaluate the population for minimum energy, as in my work, minimum energy or minimum power calculated by numerical integration of that state equation, means optimizing of objective function. Assign fitness to population, has the process converged, means what you wanted to minimize, what you wanted to suppose maximize, that is whether achieved or not. If not, then again the process we need to start, and if it is achieved, then we need to stop the we need to stop our process. So this, as I told, by the help of MATLAB toolbox, the codes were already written. Then I converted that in MATLAB. Then with the help of toolbox, MATLAB toolbox, I wrote the objective function, but the problem I failed. Whatever the variables were there, means the constants we need to make variables we need to make constant. That is very difficult. That was challenging. Like earlier, these controlling parameters, gain parameters were constant values. Kp is equal to, suppose Kp is equal to 200 something. But here we need to make it variable. Then only the algorithm can suggest, like suppose we put a lower and a upper value, suppose 100 to 200. So which one is the best? Which one is the responsible for minimizing the energy? Which one is responsible? So suppose it suggests the Kp value 120, 130. Okay, so that is only possible if we make it variable. Okay, so in this way, this the trajectory was optimized, and I think it is now enough. So now I'm going to conclude what we extracted, what we learned from this. So I tried to, firstly, I tried to define the robot, then the difference between the robotics and the automation we should know, and the motions, so which kind of motions, and means kinematics, dynamics, the difference between kinematics and the dynamics. Dynamics, what we study, both we study the motions plus the cause of the motions. Then types of kinematics are forward kinematics, inverse kinematics, then DH convention, DH parameters, and why it is required, where it is required, and then the regarding softwares, the STM module, homogeneous transformation module, for the visualization of the coordinate movements, and then the robo analyzer, so that we can visualize the motions, forward kinematics, inverse kinematics. Then the virtual robots, by that we can identify the axis, we can see the motions in that. That is why virtual robots, that is known as the jogging, and the robot can be controlled either by the joints or by Cartesian. Okay. So, and at the last, suppose one is interested to optimize the trajectory, the power consumption. So with the help of, in my case, I optimized that by using genetic algorithm optimization technique. So with this, thank you for bearing me, and now it is open for the discussion, for the interaction. If you have any query, please let me know.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can write in the chat box or you can ask. You can unmute yourself if there are any queries. Yes, sir. We will be sharing the PPTs, and one of the participant is asking about the PPTs. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this fabulous lecture. And I hope it is very helpful for the participants who are working in the area of robotics and kinematics. And as this lecture has provided the practical exposure, practical exposure in the field. So once again, thank you, sir. And we will look forward for such type of lectures in the near future.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Dear participants, we will be joining for the valedictory session at 2:30, and there will be a valedictory section and the test followed by the test.